Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swagglehos. And in this video, we got ourselves another CGC unboxing here on the channel, this time for some Golden Age books. But unlike some of the other videos we've been doing, I actually already pre-unboxed this thing. You can see from the flap right here. I know what the grades are, and I did a little bit of an inspection because originally the idea I had for this video was me going to be talking about Golden Age grading and how, generally speaking, CGC is a little more favorable to Golden Age books, as I cannot complain about the grades I got for everything in this unboxing. But after I actually inspected these books and opened them up, I'm here to now make a video talking about CGC quality control or lack thereof. So in this video, I'm going to do this unboxing, maybe talk a little bit about, hear some of your guys' complaints in the comments, because this is something that a lot of people have been asking me to do a video specifically on this topic. I know a lot of people use with quality control and generally speaking, but of course, before I get into it, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I would appreciate it. Help support the channel, doing those things. But let us get into this video here today. Now, these are a few books I had sent in to CGC. I mean, I did a big submission a couple weeks back, and this was a Golden Age group of books that went in under the vintage tier. And I actually got them all back together just coincidentally. And this first one right here is probably the one I have maybe the most issue with. I'm sure that there's other people out there that have had this experience where CGC damaged their book, but that's kind of what I had with this one, although I'm still very, very happy with the grade. But the first book I have is a Tales from the Crypt, number 22, the classic Al Feldstein graveyard cover, a very cool kind of EC comic book right here. Always love this cover. I think that of all the early EC books, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, you know, Haunt of Fear, all that stuff, Al Feldstein is my personal favorite artist. I think that his artwork has the most iconic to the tone of EC and Tales from the Crypt, which is why I really, really enjoy it. And I feel like this is one of the earliest ones in the series. You know, he always has this guy getting attacked by like a zombie or things like that. But this one actually got a CGC 4.0. As you guys can see right there, I'm actually very, very pleased with this grade. This is a book that I actually bought raw off of Heritage, and I think when I bought it, they actually had it graded at a 2.0 to a 2.5. So I cannot complain with the grade I got from this. Granted, it did have a major spine roll when I bought it, so maybe they had that factored in. But I did get this pressed and cleaned, spine roll got adjusted, and you know, much, much better presenting book. Now, the issue I have with this book right here is that in this corner, you will notice, like, focus, that little chip right there in the upper left corner. Now, that chip right there was something that's, I'm not going to say CGC caused it, because there was always a tear in that corner, but CGC did me no favors and actually tore off that piece up there in the corner. I'll probably put a little picture or something, you know, next to me so you guys can see. Originally, this did have a flap on the corner. It had a little tear right there, but the flap was still a part of it. You know, it was just torn a little bit, but the back was still connected, and it used to sort of fold over perfectly. And when I sent it into CGC, it was all there. You know, it was totally all there, and everything was still intact. I mean, I know that there's been tons of people who have had videos of like, you know, maybe there's a tear and then there's a flap in the casing. Instead of CGC, you know, pushing the flap down so that you can see the cover, they like slab the book with the flap still up. Well, I guess in this particular instance, I don't know what happened, if they just were like, he doesn't need this flap, and he just tore it off. They just tore it off and threw it away, or whatever the case is. But it is really interesting because, you know, I'm still happy with the grade, but then this affects that whole thing of like, you know, buying the book, not the grade. If people are really, really picky and they're like, oh, well, look at that little corner up there. I mean, I've seen books get hit to 2.5 when they have a piece like that missing. I'm a little annoyed that they got rid of that piece. On top of that, have you guys been noticing this a lot more with the quality control of CGC? Hear that case rattle? Like, I don't know, the pieces are not fitting the same way that they used to. I mean, some of my older CGC cases, if you kind of jiggle them around, the interior housing does not move at all. But now, basically on every book I got, the interior housing is moving. And I don't know if that's like, you know, did they switch their manufacturer or something like that, or did they get something different parts and plastics and things like that? I don't know what it is, but a lot of people have been complaining to me about the quality control issues. And, a lot of quality control issues continue to arrive at CGC. But, again, their customer service is great. They usually fix these types of things if you ask about it. And their turnaround times have been fantastic as well. So props to CGC on a lot of accounts. But the quality control is definitely an issue. Let me know in the comments if you guys are having quality control issues. All right, this next book right here is the one that I felt like I got a really, really positive grade on this one. This one right here is a Superman number 13 that came back, a CGC 2.5. Very cool early Superman, World War II, the first DC Superman publication stamp right there in this run. Now, this is a book that I actually thought that I was maybe going to get a 1.8. 1.8 would have been pretty positive. Some people thought maybe I was going to get a 1.5, when I was talking to some people in my personal life about this. As you guys can see, it had the two big chips down there. It has the chip right there in the upper corner, and had a little bit of spine splitting. But this is that situation where, CGC is often very, very favorable to Golden Age books. They just are. Everybody knows what it is. A Golden Age 4.0 is not on the same level of a Silver Age 4.0. They're just a little more friendly to it. And, I think it's one of those things where, if you're into the Golden Age books, you can definitely take advantage of some of those things, especially if you're somebody who, again, buys, from Heritage in the raw form, and they have it graded at a certain level, and then you go into CGC and you actually get a grade bump. I mean, that's really, really beneficial to people out there that are playing in this space. But very happy to get a 2.5 on this one. This is one that I got off of eBay in a raw auction. And again, another little issue with the quality control stuff here at CGC. I mean, let me see if I can show you guys this. You guys ever get this? I mean, I think this happens a lot. You get a little bit of come on, focus. Come on, focus. There you see. See that little plastic chip right there in the corner? I've been noticing this a lot more in some of the CGC slabs. A lot of plastic chipping going on in the interior housings when they actually put these books together. And I don't know, where these pieces of debris are coming from, how they actually put the slabs together, but I see it quite frequently, more than you would think. And I know that this is like sort of a common flaw. I'm sure you guys have all had this experience. Again, another one here in the back. Got a little piece of plastic. Maybe you can't see it very well. A little piece of plastic back there. But, people have been, again, complaining a lot to me about CGC's quality control. Obviously, nothing to the effect of like having a comic book upside down. I'm sure you guys have seen that one. There are definitely some funny situations of CGC, having a label incorrect, or a comic book literally upside down, or a comic book backwards, and all that sort of stuff. And obviously those are egregious, and that shouldn't be happening. But all these little minor things, the housing being loose, the little plastic pieces in there, them adding extra damage to a book, like the piece that kind of flapped off, or even just the little subtle stuff of like, just when there's a little flap, like, can you just do the person a favor? Like, put the flap forward so you see the cover. Don't actually slab it with the flap like bent over backwards. That's ridiculous. On top of that, this is one where I felt like, CGC, do me a little favor. This next book I have is a Superman number 15 in a 0.5. This is what I already knew was going to come back a 0.5 because it was missing the 15th wrap. I actually thought the centerfold was missing on this one, but it was the 15th wrap. Still cool though. I mean, I wanted to get this book housed and slabbed in case I ever wanted to trade it. I'm very much a fan of having the transparency with the grade, so that if someone ever buys this thing from me or I trade it, they know what they're getting. But as you guys can see, they sent this to me in a magazine case. And you guys can see there, same book, or same title run, different issue, but much bigger magazine case. Now, this is something that CGC tends to do if the books are a little bit bigger and they can't quite fit it into this case. It's definitely an issue with Golden Age comic books. But I feel like they could have fit this in a regular case. And you guys can actually see the cover was definitely detached right here. And you can see how much like the cover was sliding off of the book right here, and that's really why they put it in the magazine case. But when I sent it over to them, everything was taut and put together, and this is one of those things, quality control issue, that it's a little bit annoying. I realize it's not the person's job to make sure that my book is perfectly aligned. You know, the grader pulls it out of the bag, he looks it through, you know, he puts it back together. But with a detached cover, it would have been nice for them to push it taut along the cover right here so that when they slab it, they can put it in a regular case and not this magazine case. Because I don't know how you guys feel, but dude, these magazine cases look terrible. At least they did center it. You know, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with this. When they put it in the magazine case, sometimes they put these books and it's like completely to the left because obviously the case is too big. It's completely to the left, completely to the right. You know, it's drooping down. At least this one is centered. But I feel like the magazine case takes away a lot of eye appeal, you know, for a lot of collectors, and understandably so. I mean, it's just a big, clumsy looking case, you know, compared to the snug fit of some of the other ones. And again, I think that they probably did this because when it eventually went to get housed, they saw that the interior of the book is sliding off of the cover right here. And they were like, oh, well, then this is going to be, you know, it's going to measure bigger, and therefore we can't fit it in this case. So let's just put it in a magazine case and not really worry about it. You know, you would have liked them to put a little more care in it, you know, see this book and say like, oh, you know, hey, little guy, you're sliding out of your cover right there. Let me tuck you back in nice and taut, and then I can put you in the regular case, and you'll look a lot better for it. But, you know, quality control, little nitpicks going on at CGC. Now, I've had a lot of people, you know, again, like I mentioned earlier in this video, a lot of people have DM'd me about like, hey, Swag, have you noticed, you know, the CGC quality control issues really ramping up? You know, again, these have been my little experiences. Again, I've always generally had pretty great interactions with CGC. They have some of the best customer service. There's no denying that. But yeah, these little things I think always drive people in the community crazy. And I'd like to hear from you guys. What other sort of quality control issues have you been having at CGC? Have you noticed that CGC has had more quality control issues overall, even more so than that of, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago? Let me know in the comments because I am very curious. This is anecdotal, but I've heard more people complaining about it. I just don't really know what those specific quality control issues are. That being said, you know, again, their turnaround times are extremely fast right now, and maybe that's part of the issue, right? Are they moving too fast with the grading? Are they flying by too many books? Are they trying to churn too much? And a lot of these little plastic things, a lot of little corner chips and magazine housings are happening in the process. Well, that's all for this video. That was me just doing my CGC unboxing. Again, this was going to be a video about, you know, me talking about golden age grading and how soft it is these days. But you know, I decided to pivot and actually talk a little bit about the quality control issues at CGC. Again, I am a fan of CGC. Generally speaking, I of course like to have, you know, my pitchfork videos here and now. When CGC does something stupid, I'll definitely talk about that. But I do think that more times than not, they try to make things right and they try to do good things, even if I don't always agree with every little thing that they're doing. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. What do you guys think about CGC's current quality control issues? Have you guys been having it with them? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next video.